What's up everyone? Welcome to my first Behind the Scenes, the series where I take you behind the lens of one of my short films.
What happens?
In this video, I want to share with you how I achieved a dolly zoom, or a ZOLLY, on my short film that I did for the 48-hour film project in Wilmington, North Carolina. The ZOLLY effect has been used on several major Hollywood films, including Jaws and Goodfellas.
On the surface, of course, everything was supposed to be fine. We were supposed to be discussing my case.
This effect is also referred to as the vertigo shot, since Alfred Hitchcock used it several times in his film Vertigo. In Vertigo, it was used to convey unease and tension. The ZOLLY can also be used in a transitional moment, like they did in Me, Myself, and Irene, where Jim Carrey's character swaps to his alternate personality.
What are you staring at, fucker?
In a music video I did, the shot symbolized the world closing in on the character as drug addiction was taking over his life and caused him to push his loved ones away. But I was super nervous about making this shot work on my short film, Happy Place. So I've done the dolly zoom in the past in the music video that I just shared the clip of, but I was a little more prepared for that one. I was able to achieve it using the 4-foot GVM motorized slider, the Tilta Nucleus M follow focus, my Sigma 24 to 70mm lens, and a solid tripod with slider support arms. To make this effect work, you need to simultaneously sync your dolly, your zoom, and your focus pull to warp the background around your character, either closer or further away, while keeping your character about the same size in your frame. So for my short film Happy Place, I didn't really think I had the right tools to pull this effect off. Basically on the music video, I had the electronic follow focus and the motorized slider, so I could program the dolly, zoom, and focus and just press a couple buttons at the same time and everything just worked. So without all these tools, I wasn't exactly sure if we were going to be able to pull off the ZOLLY effect. And for some reason, we saved this shot for the last thing we were going to shoot the whole weekend. Probably because it wasn't totally necessary for the film, but as the DP, I saw an opportunity and I really wanted to try to make this effect work. So here's what I did. So I still had the GVM motorized slider, so one of the variables was taken care of. You might be able to use a manual slider to pull off the effect, and honestly that's what they've done in the past anyways, but I had the electronic slider, so I didn't have any reason not to use it. This left the zoom and the focus to be figured out. I knew that I wanted my dolly movement to be on an angle, so I set it up that way on my tripod. Then I positioned it so that my opening shot would frame the actress the way I wanted. Given my time constraints and my lack of experience pulling focus, I decided to close up my aperture and give myself as much focus as I could so I didn't have to adjust this while moving the slider and zooming at the same time. Even though I had my aperture closed to f/22, I still prioritized the focus at the end of the shot because that's where my character's action was going to be taking place, and I knew that in my post-production workflow, the beginning of the shot, the focus didn't quite matter as much. I started with the fully zoomed in shot and the camera further away from my character because I knew that as I moved the camera in, it would open up the world around her, symbolizing her world changing and the opportunity she was about to face to open up her mind. Next, I moved the camera as close to the actor as I could and made sure the shot still worked. I then set up my manual follow focus on the zoom ring to give myself a little better feel for the zoom. The combination of the 24 to 70mm lens and a 4-foot slider isn't quite perfect, but it works out pretty well for this effect. Now, to actually film this and time it right. It was honestly a bit easier than I thought it was going to be. I turned the grid on my monitor and noted the position of the actress's eye line. Then, at 100% speed, I dollied the camera in on the slider. While this was happening, I zoomed out on the actress while paying close attention to her eye line and it being positioned right on that grid line. And yes, I know my sensor is very dirty in this shot. It is what it is. After only a few attempts, I got the shot that I was looking for, and I was super relieved. Like I said, we really didn't have to do this shot for the film, but I saw the opportunity and I'm really glad that I took it. So before I jump into the post-production workflow, I wanted to share with you one issue I had when recreating this effect at my studio. Since my shoot in Wilmington, I got a brand new follow focus, which is this Smallrig Mini follow focus, and it's much nicer than the Amazon brand that I was using before. But the problem I was having was that when I was using it on the zoom ring of my lens, is I was getting a lot of resistance, and it just was making my shot really, really jerky. And once I realized the problem, it was super obvious. Basically, it comes with this gear here, which is pretty small for a follow focus gear. So I ordered a new one that's much bigger, and I swapped it out and used it for the effect, and it worked out amazingly. Now in post, I sped the zoom up by 2 times and added some effects to match the rest of the scene. And here's how it turned out.
I have something that might help you on your journey. What happened?
In a pinch, this method worked out amazingly to achieve a dolly zoom, and I highly encourage you to use a ZOLLY on your next film. Just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons and you're not just sticking the effect in there just to do it. If you'd like to watch my film Happy Place, I'll leave it linked in the description. And also, please let me know what you think of how I achieved this effect in the comments below. And if you like this kind of content, please hit the like button and subscribe because I'll be making more of these behind the scenes videos in the future.